It is so windy outside, and I just picked up my kids from school, so now my hair is all jacked up. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and I have part 2 of my Unapologetic April book haul. I wasn't planning to have a part 2, but literally the day I filmed the first one, I bought more books on Book Outlet, because that's just what I do. But I am done now, so I have a few books here to show you, just things that I've gotten from actually a few different places. They just kind of happened. And then I have one more very small book haul that is very specific, and I'm going to have that up here in a day or two. I'm still waiting for one more book so that I can edit that, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some books that I got at Walmart. I got 3 books at Walmart. I don't buy them at Walmart very often just because they are a little more on the pricey side. They are cheaper than, if I went to Barnes & Noble, but they're still pricey. So I don't know. I was just in the mood, I guess. So the first one is The Circle. This is by Dave Eggers. This is going to be a movie coming out soon, I think in the next couple of months, that has Emma Watson in it, and I'm really excited to see that. So obviously I want to read the book first, and I have heard this is a very, very good book. I believe this is a little bit of a science fiction type, and it's kind of a mystery, something's happening, no one can really figure it out, and they're trying to figure things out. I would love to go into this really blind because I don't really want to know what's happening, so that I can kind of go in and see it all for myself and see if I can figure it out. The only thing that bothers me is it has this really shiny motion picture sticker and I can't get it off. I tried to peel it off a little bit, but it wasn't coming up, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to ruin it. So that's the only thing that bothers me, but I'm really excited to read this.
Goat.
Good job.
Soap.
Yeah.
Road.
Mm-hmm.
Road. And oats.
Good job. Okay, this next one that I grabbed at Walmart is one that I've been really eyeing for a very long time. It is now out in paperback, so it's, kind of hitting the shelves again. I actually saw a copy of this at Goodwill recently, and it was a hardback, but the spine was jacked up, and it was just, I was like, it's cheap, but it also is not in very good condition, so I passed on it, and so I found it at Walmart in paperback, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it, and that is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is a historical fiction that I believe is set in the World War II time frame, and I believe it's a girl and a boy. One of them's blind. Something like that. Something along those lines. I hear this is heartbreaking. I hear it's beautiful. I hear it's wonderful. It won the Pulitzer Prize. So I'm very excited to read this. And now I can because I have a copy of it. This next one is a thriller that I have been seeing going around quite a bit, and I've been interested in it. It's popping up on a lot of Pinterest lists about thrillers that will take your breath away and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I would go ahead and grab it. And that's All the Missing Girls. And this is by Megan Miranda. This is following a young girl who leaves her town, I think, because her best friend goes missing, and then something happened with her boyfriend as well. So she leaves town for 10 years and then ends up finding herself back in her hometown, but more people end up going missing. So she's kind of left trying to figure out what's really happening here. So I love a good thriller. I'm willing to give any thriller a fighting chance, really. And like I said, I've just been seeing this one pop up all over the place, so I'm going to give it a try. Okay, so Book Outlet. Got a few things on Book Outlet. Now, actually all the books that I have here from Book Outlet are part of a series. So I was kind of just buying a couple that I knew I was interested in. I knew I wanted to own them and all that. So the first one is I don't remember what this is called, Maelstrom, maybe, series? By Danielle L. Jensen. I have the first book that I got at Barnes & Noble last year, and that is Stolen Songbird. So I got this at Barnes & Noble last year. And then I found the other 2 in the trilogy on Book Outlet, so I went ahead and got it. So book number 2 is Hidden Huntress, and book number 3 is Warrior Witch. Now these books, most definitely this one follows a society where trolls live underneath the earth, and so I believe that this girl is part of a prophecy where she can save them and break a curse or something like that. I heard trolls and I was like, I'm in. So I now have the full trilogy, so I can go ahead and read this whole trilogy now, and I'm really excited about it. I've never read anything about trolls before, so I think that's going to be very interesting. I have heard that at least this first book is very, very good. I haven't heard much about the other two, but a lot of people that have read the first one really, really enjoyed it and said it was like a really great surprise for them. They were surprised at how much they enjoyed it, so I'm excited to get into this. And the other two books that I got on Book Outlet are the first and second book in a series. And when they came, I was kind of like, oh, because the covers, like, they're the same covers, but the texture on them is different. So it kind of took me by surprise. I was a little disappointed in that. But they're hardcover, they're cheap, like whatever. So I got the first two books in the Firebird Trilogy, I believe. The first one is called 1,000 Pieces of You. The second one is called 10,000 Skies Above You. And the third book, I believe, came out recently, like in the past couple of months. They don't have that one yet, but I'm going to keep my eye out. So if you can tell, this one is shiny, very shiny. This one is not. This one's like a matte finish. I prefer the matte finish, but whatever, it's fine. So I just love these covers. They are so beautiful. It always has one cityscape up on top and then another city on the bottom in different colors. And it's like that on both of them. So this one has, is that New York? I think that's New York on top. And then Russia on the bottom. This one has Paris on top and San Francisco on the bottom. And then I'm not sure what the third one has. I haven't looked at the cover too deeply. But I've always wanted to own these, if anything, because of the cover, but I have heard these are really good, so I'm excited to give them a try. But I have the first two, and then I'll just keep my eye out for the third one, and when that pops up, I'll grab that one too, but I'm really excited about this. These are by Claudia Gray. Okay, so random stuff now. This first one is one that I got at a book exchange that our book club did recently. We did one of those like blind date book exchanges. So we all picked a book that we really enjoyed and wanted to pass on, and we wrapped it up in just plain wrapping paper and wrote a very vague description of it on the wrapping paper of it. And then we just took turns picking one, and it was a lot of fun. I ended up getting Everything by Nicola Yoon, and I'm so excited. I have read this. I read this recently, actually. I think I read it in January or February for a readathon, but I loved it, and I don't own a copy, so I was really excited to actually get this. And yeah, like this is something I could actually see myself rereading one day, and my kids rereading and all that stuff. So I'm actually really excited. Even though I've read it already, I'm excited to actually have a copy for my shelves. All right, this next one I got on Amazon, and I used a gift card that my parents got me, and it is a book that I've heard about. I heard about a while ago, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. And then I just saw Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. That's her channel named Thoughts on Tomes, and she did a review of this recently because she read it, and her comparison was very similar to The Night Circus. So, you know, if you like The Night Circus, you're going to like this one too. And when I hear that, I perk up a little bit because I love The Night Circus. And then it made me kind of rekindle that interest, because when I first heard about it, I was interested, and then I kind of forgot about it, honestly, because no one was really talking about it. And then when Sam did her review, I went, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then I watched her review and went, yep, I want to read that. I absolutely do. So I went on Amazon and bought it because it's beautiful. It is gorgeous. The Golem and the Genie, and this is by Helene Wecker. Isn't that beautiful? And look, it's so shiny and pretty. The gold isn't picking up a ton, but it's shiny gold. It's so gorgeous. This book is beautiful. It has deckled edges. It's a beautiful book. So I'm really happy that I was able to actually get a physical copy of this. But now I'm super excited to read it because of Sam's review, and it just kind of reminded me that it was something I was interested in. And then when she reviewed it, I went, yep, that sounds right up my alley. So this is kind of like a historical fiction, and it has magical elements in it. And yeah, I'm super excited to read it. Okay, so I have three more, and these are three books that I actually got from my library. And I have recently joined the committee called Friends of the Library for our local town here. And what they do, I think most public libraries have a program like this, but they basically support the library. They hold library book sales. When those are going on, it's usually from Friends of the Library. They have a government budget. They're able to really help out and donate money for things that the library needs. And help raise money as well, as far as, you know, the book sales and everything go. So I wanted to volunteer because as you guys know, I'm trying to get my foot into the door in some libraries, possibly get a job if I can, and I'm planning to get a master's degree in library and information sciences, which I plan to start in the fall. So one day our library had posted on their Facebook page that their donation room was out of control and they were like currently not taking any donations because they had to, you know, do catch up and, you know, make room, and like, you know, their donation room was overflowing because so many people had brought books, which is fantastic. But they can only hold so much. So when they posted that, they were asking for volunteers, you know, if you have an hour or two of time that you can come and kind of help us sort through the donations, that would be great. So I contacted them and said I would absolutely love to, and that's how I heard about the Friends of the Library thing and started to get involved. So I went and I spent about an hour and a half helping in their donation room, and it was mainly, you know, going through the boxes, seeing what's in good condition, anything that's in really good condition that could actually go out on the shelves and in their circulation. Just setting those aside so that they can scan them and see if it's something that's needed, and anything that is either outdated or just not in the best condition can go into the sale item. So I went and helped, and when I was done, the librarian told me, you know, she thanked me for my help and said, if there's anything that was catching your eye that you will maybe want to take, you know, you can take whatever you want. And I was like, okay. I controlled myself. I really, really did. I controlled it. I only got 3 books, so I was good. I was very good. But the first one I got was The Snowman by Joe Nesbo. Joe Nesbo is an author who's, I believe he's Norwegian. I think he's Norwegian. Something. And he writes crime and thrillers, and I've heard that his books are very, very good. This is now the 2nd book that I have of his, and I also have The Redbreast. Those are part of his Harry Hole series, and they're like numbers 3 and 5. Of course, right? So I've got to start finding like numbers 1 and 2 at least, so I can, you know, like really start it. Because if I'm going to start a series, I'm going to start in the beginning. But it was free, so I grabbed it. Okay, and the last 2 that I got are both part of a series that I'm really interested in starting to read, and that is the Left Behind series. So I found books number 3, which is Nikolai, and Apollyon, and this is book number 5. So I have book number 1, Left Behind, and now I have books number 3 and 5. So I gotta find number 2. And number 4, and then I would have the first 5 books in the series. But we are actually doing a library sale in May, and I plan on working it. Actually, I'm going to be working it that weekend, so I'm going to keep my eye out because they usually have a bunch of these. At least they did last year, so if I can find number 2 and number 4, then I'll grab them there as well, and I'll pay for them. So this series is a Christian fiction series, and it's basically, I want to say it's after Revelations, like what's going to happen after Revelations happens. So like everyone left behind. So I believe that's what this whole thing is. But I have heard amazing things about it, and I'm really excited to get started on it. So you know, I could definitely start reading the first one soon. But yep, so I have 1, 3, and 5. So I just got to find 2 and 4, which I'm going to start looking at. But I'm really excited to read this. All right, guys, that's it. So I'm done. I'm not buying any more books. I'm not spending any more money on books. I do have just 1 more video coming up in the next day or 2. I'm waiting on 1 more to come in the mail, and then I will have just 1 more very specialized book haul for you. So hopefully I can get that up here in the next day or 2. But then honestly, that's it. Like I'm not buying any more for a while. And then going back in May, I will be going back to my 1 in, 2 out rule. So I'll go back to in and outs in May. So I'm not planning to buy too much in May. I will probably get a couple things at the library sale, but I'm just going to leave it at that and be good since I have so many books. I don't know where I'm going to put all these because again, my shelves are super full. It's so fun. All right, guys, let me know down below if you guys have read any of these and what you thought, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.